If you knew you could trace your ancestry back hundreds of years, would you want to do that? If doctors discovered that you had a 40% chance of developing diabetes, would you want to know that information? What do you think would be the advantages of knowing that information? My name is Michelle Goings, and I'm going to encourage you to participate in the services that analyze personal DNA. I'm also going to give you the reasons why this is very beneficial and explain how DNA can be used in other fields of study. DNA testing is used to determine paternity in law enforcement investigations and also used as forensics in scientific evidence. Knowing your DNA information can help you trace your ancestry and know predetermined illnesses. In Advantages and Disadvantages of DNA Testing, Andrea Baldin and her group says DNA is a nucleic acid that contains genetic instructions used in the development and functioning of all known living organisms. It is often compared to a set of blueprints. These genes carry genetic information, and DNA testing has increased in popularity in fields of biomedicine, biotechnology, biocriminology, and family law. Let's start with ancestry, paternity, and quality of life. TheLawDictionary.org says DNA testing has become the standard in paternal determination, and it is having positive effects beyond enforcement of child support. It's also helping bring families back together that may have somehow ended up apart or separated from one another. Genetic testing can bring families back together in that way. After reality shows such as Find My Family and Who Am I, not sure if you guys have heard of any of those, but they'll usually take famous people on TV and they'll use their DNA and trace it back hundreds of years. Have you ever tried to make a family tree, or you know someone in your family that has used websites to help trace the family line back hundreds of years to see who you're related to, things of that nature? Well, there are popular websites such as Ancestry.com and 23andMe, and I'm sure there's probably more out there, but those two are probably the most popular at this moment in time. 23andMe is a site I have personally used and will be able to show you, get on there and show you some information as to what you can find out about your family. DNA testing can basically tell us if we're related and if two people having the same surname are related. DNA testing can find out if two descendants come from the same ancestor. This is very helpful in tracing your ancestry. Like I said, I've personally done this and would like to share with you how this has happened, but just to give you a little bit of background and not go into too much detail, but I wasn't sure what my nationality was, and I had really been searching and trying to figure things out, and I did my DNA on this website, and it told me exactly where I come from and my family line, and it was pretty amazing, pretty life-changing. So in that being said, make sure that you are emotionally prepared as well as your family is emotionally prepared to find out that information before going forward. All right, I've pulled this up here on the 23andMe website so you can see how it's broken down. Over here to the left, we have ancestry, carrier status, wellness, traits, share and compare, DNA relatives, and research. So the cool thing about this is the share and compare, this site matches you up with people that you're related to that are also on this website. So you can keep your information private, or you can share it and compare it with others. It also breaks down DNA relatives. I was able to find a third cousin in New York that could give me some information on my paternal side. So let's go to Ancestry Reports so that you can see how exactly the DNA is broken down. Kind of takes a minute. Here we go. So it gives you a regional map in addition to your exact breakdown. So 100% me, I'm almost half European and almost half Middle Eastern. So you can see it breaks each one down. You can click on it and then it shows out of the European exactly what I am. So I'm British, about 30% British and Irish, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of neat. And then I'll take you down further here just to show you, I have my mother on here as well. So this was very, very helpful. So it showed me that all of my European descent comes from my mother and my Middle Eastern comes from my father. The only thing I've used this site for is to find out what my nationality is. And there's so many other reports on here that you can use as far as health information and, you know, finding and connecting with family members. Now, for some of us, our DNA can get lost in translation. We've all had family members come up to us and say, our great-grandfather said that we're 25% Native American. And sometimes that can get lost in translation generation after generation. So with this information, you can actually pass on accurate information to your children and the rest of your family. On another note, one major application of DNA testing is forensic identification. According to Beldine, DNA testing results are much clearer than fingerprints. And with that information, it's easier to find criminals. DNA evidence from blood, skin, or hair can be matched to the DNA of a suspect to determine information about where an individual was, who they may have come in contact with, etc. I've watched a lot of Dateline, and I find it amazing when they use DNA evidence to track down a criminal. Another major advantage of DNA analysis is the ability to let people out of prison that have been put in prison falsely. So this has actually cleared up a lot of question on whether someone is guilty or not guilty. Another major advantage is for certain genetic diseases or risk factors to be screened. So parents can be tested to determine if they carry genes that are possible for certain conditions that may be present in other members of their families. The Law Dictionary says that medical researchers have been able to explain certain interactions between major diseases such as diabetes, heart conditions, and Alzheimer's disease. This translates into more accurate diagnosis, improved treatments, and greater quality of life potential. And who does not want that? Knowledge of elevated risks for known diseases could allow you to make proactive decisions about your health. I think that is amazing in the fact that our technology has come so far that medicine can use this information. In summary, I have hopefully inspired you to participate in the services that analyze personal DNA. You learned the benefits and how DNA is used in scientific evidence, law enforcement, paternity, ancestry, and to know if you have predetermined illnesses in your family. I hope you found this helpful.